Hi everybody, we're going to work through the answers to our multiplying mixed numbers, today's maths task. So whichever challenge you're doing or whichever question you maybe didn't get right, having marked it using the answers that are posted up, then you maybe want to fast forward to that question or those questions and just take a look at them and make sure you understand how we got the answers. Starting off with challenge 1A we did together in our teaching video, and the answer was 6 2/3. In B, the question was 2 1/4 times 4. So 2 1/4 times 4, and I'm changing first to an improper fraction. So 2 4s are 8, add 1 is 9. So that means I'm working with 9 quarters altogether times 4. And 9 4s are 36. So that's 36 quarters. And 36 divided by 4 is 9. So it's a whole number, and the answer is 9. Question C we also did together in our teaching video, and that answer was 7 1/5. Question D, 2 1/6 times 5. Change it in proper fraction. 2 6s are 12, add 1 is 13, so 13 6 times 5. 13 times 5 is 65, so 65 sixths. And of course you'll have done your working out for that, but I'm just working through the answers nice and quickly for you. So 65 divided by 6, well 6 tens are 60 and 5 left over, so 10 5/6. On to question E, 3 1/5 times 4. 3 1/5 times 4, so again starting off with my changing to an improper fraction, so 3 5s are 15 plus 1 is 16, so I'm talking about 16 fifths. 16 times 4 is 64, so 64 fifths. 64 divided by 5, and again you'll have done working out some, possibly for that one, or if maybe that you know that 12 fives is 60, so it's 12 wholes with 4 left over, 12 4/5. F is 2 1/8 times 5. Change it to my improper fraction. 2 8s are 16 plus 1 is 17, so 17 eighths times 5. So 17 times 5, well 5 tens are 50, 5 7s are 35, so that's 85. 85 eighths, 10 eighths are 80, and 5 left over, so 10 5/8. Now I'm working through these very quickly, but again do remember the points that we talked about in our teaching video this morning. We're changing to an improper fraction first of all, then we're multiplying the numerator, the top number, and then at the end we're changing back to a mixed number for our final answer. You might need to do a bit of dividing with that one. Okay, so question G, 3 1/7 times 6. 3 1/7 times 6, so 3 7s are 21 plus 1 is 22. So I'm changing it to my improper fraction, multiplying that by 6. Now 22 times 6, well 20 times 6 is 120, and 2 times 6 is 12. So that gives me 132. So 132 sevenths, and I'm going to divide that, which gave me 18 6/7. And H was 2 1/10 times 8. Change it to an improper fraction. 2 tens are 20, add 1 is 21. 21 tenths times 8. 8 20s are 160. 8 ones are 8. So 168 tenths, which gives me 16 wholes and 8 left over. 16 8/10. On to challenge 2 then, and we already did A in our teaching video, which was 10 2/3. So moving on to B, 3 2/5 times 3. 3 2/5 times 3. 3 5s are 15 plus 2 is 17. Change it to my improper fraction, so 17 fifths times 3. Well, 17 times 3 is 51. 51 fifths, which is 10 and 1/5 left over. C, 2 4/6 times 5. Change it to my improper fraction. 2 6s are 12 plus 4 is 16, so 16 sixths times 5. 16 times 5. 5 tens are 50, 5 6s are 30, so it gives me 80. 86th, and 80 divided by 6, well I know that 6 12s are 72. Another 6 would give me 78, so that's 13 wholes, and 2 left over from 78 to 80, so 13 2/6. D, 3 3/4 times 4. Changing my improper fractions. 3 fours are 12 plus 3 is 15. So 15 quarters times 4. 15 times 4 is 60. And 60 divided by 4 is 15. So this one's a whole number. 15 is your answer. E we did in the learning video, which was 16 3/7. F is 4 3/5 times 6. 4 5s are 20 plus 3 is 23. So it's 23 fifths times 6. 20 times 6 is 120. 3 times 6 is 18. So I've got 138 fifths here. And I've got to divide that by 5, which gave me 27 remainder 3. So 27 and 3/5 is the answer. G, 5 and 2/7 multiplied by 4. Changing improper fractions. So 5 sevens are 35 plus 2 is 37. 37 sevenths times 4. And 37 multiplied by 4. 4 30s are 120. 4 sevens are 28, so that gives me 148 sevens, which I then have to divide. That gives me 21 remainder 1, which is 21 and 1/7. H we did together in our teaching video, which was 13 and 6/8. So we're going to move on to I, which is 4 and 3/5 times 8. 4 5s are 20 plus 3 is 23. So 23 fifths times 8. 23 times 8. 20 times 8 is 160. 3 times 8 is 24. So 184 fifths. And I'm going to divide that. That gave me 36 remainder 4, which is 36 and 4/5. J, 6 3/4 times 7. 6 fours are 24 plus 3 is 27, so 27 quarters times 7. 27 times 7, 7 20s are 140, 7 sevens are 49, so I've got 189 quarters. Need to divide that, which gave me 47 remainder 1. So 47 and 1/4. Okay, 5 1/2 times 3. 5 2s are 10 plus 1 is 11, so 11 halves times 3, which is 33 halves. 33 divided by 2 is 16 and a half. 16 and a half. L, 4 and 2/6 times 7. Changing improper fraction. 4 6s are 24 plus 2 is 26. So we have 26 sixths times 7. 7 20s are 140. 7 6s are 42. So that's 182 sixths, which I will divide. Give me 30 remainder 2. So that's 30 wholes and 2 sixths. Now, sometimes in the answer book it'll simplify it for you. So 2 sixths we can simplify to make 1/3. So the answer also could be 30 and 1/3. Now that applies for any fraction answers which you can simplify. It's okay to simplify them. It's good to simplify them actually. And it means the same thing. M, 7 and 2/5 times 3. 7 5s are 35 and 2 is 37. So 37 fifths is the improper fraction. Multiply that by 3. 3 30s are 90 and 3 sevens are 21, which gives me 111. So 111 fifths, which I'll divide. That gave me 22 remainder 1, so 22 wholes and 1/5. And N is 8 and 1/9 times 6. So 8 9s are 72, add 1 is 73. So 73 ninths times 6. 6 sevens are 42, so 6 70s are 420. 6 3s are 18. So 438 ninths, which I will divide. That gave me 48 remainder 6, so 48 and 6/9. And again, you can simplify 6/9, and that's why on your answers it says 48 and 2/3. You can divide 6/9 by 3 to make 2/3. So 48 and 6/9 or 48 and 2/3.
Hi, P6, Mr. Sterling jumping in here to do this question here. Oh, Mr. Hyman has a nice lightsaber thing, it's pretty cool. This question here, number 2, we find very difficult ourselves, so we'll have to discuss it. So I'm just going to explain to you how we get the answer. So if anybody gets this one, that'll be absolutely brilliant thinking, okay? So basically it's asking you that a mixed number has been multiplied by 4 and the answer is 7 and 6/8. What was the mixed number? So what was this number? It was multiplied by 4 that gave you an answer for 6/8. So the first thing is obviously that this number in here is going to be smaller than 7 and 6/8. Okay, so step one that I did was converted this mixed number, and it's an inverse operation. Okay, so I need to divide this number by 4, okay, to get back the ways. But the first thing I need to do, so 7 and 6/8 divided by 4, that's going to give me the answer that I want. Okay, so step one is to change this into an improper fraction. So 8 times 7 is 56, plus 6 is 62, so it's 62/8 divided by 4 will give me my answer. Alright, so this is where it gets tricky. Okay, so 62 divided by 4, well, 60 divided by 4 is 15, and that leaves me a remainder, so it's actually 15 and a half. I'm going to use a decimal rather than write a half, so it's 15 and a half eighths, right, which is a bit awkward. Okay, so half an eighth, this is where it's tricky. You need to realize that half an eighth is a 16th. So I'm going to change this into 31 16ths. Okay. Right, so 31 16ths is my answer, which I then change to an improper fraction, or sorry, a mixed number, which is 1 and 15 16ths. Okay, and that then is your actual answer, 115 16ths. Okay, this is where it is extremely tricky. If you spotted that a 16th is half of an eighth, and were able to realize to convert it an equivalent fraction, then that is really high level thinking. So if anybody got that, very well done. Back over to Mr. Hyman.
Thank you, Mr. Sterling, for your expertise on that question. And as Mr. Sterling said, if anybody got that, absolutely outstanding work. It was a very difficult question. Now in question 3, there's a disagreement between a group of friends. They have 11 bananas to share and there's 4 of them. And one person says they can all have 2 4/6 of a banana each. And another person says that they can have 2 9/12 of a banana each. Who is right and how do we know? Well, what we're going to have to do for this one is see basically which one is correct by doing the sum twice. One with 2 4/6, which we'll start with now. So 11 bananas to share. Now, there's 4 of them, so if they each eat 2 4/6 of a banana, then we need to multiply that by 4. Again, we're going to change it into our improper fraction, so 2 6s are 12 plus 4 is 16, so that's 16 sixths times 4, and 16 times 4 is 64. So that gives me 64 sixths. Then we're going to divide it. Okay, so 60 divided by 6 is 10, and 4 sixths left over. So that is not quite 11 bananas, so that person's wrong. The other person must be correct then, but we're just going to do the sum anyway to double check, and then we'll know that we're definitely right and we haven't made a mistake. So again, I'm going to change it into my improper fraction. So 12 times 2 is 24, plus 9 is 33. So we've got 33 twelfths multiplied by 4. 33 multiplied by 4 is 132 twelfths. And hopefully from your 12 times tables, you'll remember that 132 divided by 12 is 11. So the person who said 2 9/12, they've got the answer right. That is the right answer. And how do you know? Because when you multiply 2 9/12 by 4, you get 11. 6.